From LeBron finally giving an answer to heckling Cleveland fans, to Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, here are the most unbelievable moments in NBA history, starting with the legendary flu game. One of the greatest NBA moments ever was Michael Jordan's flu game in the 1997 NBA Finals. Jordan led the Chicago Bulls to a huge victory over the Utah Jazz. All the while, he was super sick and had a high fever. Jordan's incredible perseverance and desire to win made this game an instant classic. It also cemented his place as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. The flu game is a brilliant example of how one player's heroic effort can change the outcome of an entire series and have a long-lasting impact on the sport. It goes without saying, basketball lovers will never forget this moment. And you know what else none of us can forget? The decision. In the summer of 2010, teams had been losing games and accumulating money for years in the hopes of being able to sign LeBron James. Cleveland didn't know that James might leave the city, but after yet another unsuccessful postseason, it started to look likely. What was to come was nobody's guess, though. Potential suitors were the Miami Heat, New Jersey Nets, New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, and Los Angeles Clippers. Despite the Cavaliers' best efforts to keep LeBron in Cleveland, the city of Miami was in uproar when James revealed his choice on the decision, as he would be joining Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh on the Heat. But Cleveland was furious. Apparently, LeBron couldn't visit the state of Ohio without a brigade of security surrounding him at all times. That's how badly the city of Cleveland took it. In response, Cavalier supporters burned his jersey, destroyed his memorabilia, and hurled things at a massive Cleveland billboard with his face on it. General manager Dan Gilbert wrote a furious letter criticizing James. He promised the community that they would win a championship before the self-anointed king. Yikes! Let's not forget that whole documentary was insanely cringy and an ego overboard by LeBron. Way to break the news, man. Okay, we can't talk about the animosity between LeBron and Cleveland without talking about the block. LeBron James' The Block is widely recognized as one of the greatest plays in NBA history, and for good reason. The Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors were tied at 89-89, with just over a minute left in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. The Warriors were poised to take the lead during a fast break, just when LeBron James made a spectacular chase-down block on Andre Iguodala to prevent what seemed to be a straightforward layup. James' block cemented his status as one of the all-time great players, and it was a crucial play that propelled the Cleveland Cavaliers to the championship. In fact, the block is still talked about by both fans and critics today. I bet it'll be cherished for a very long time, too. LeBron finally made it up to Cleveland fans after what seemed like years of heckling and hatred, huh? Now, for the mother of all NBA controversy theories, the Western Conference Finals of 2002 were a memorable event. Not just because both teams played well in the 7-game series, but also because there may have been interference in a pivotal Game 6, which was the starting point for all NBA conspiracy theories. In the WCF, there were several dubious calls, including Mike Bibby getting elbowed to the floor without a penalty, touch fouls that weren't called earlier but were miraculously recognized then, and the Lakers shot 18 more free throws in the fourth quarter than the Kings. Then, it was revealed that Tim Donaghy and a number of other officials had planned for the series to go to 7 games, and for the Los Angeles Lakers to win the series. Oh boy, critics of the game's officiating grew even more sus. In total, the Lakers attempted 40 free throws, including an absurd 27 in the last frame. The Kings' big men, including Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, Scott Pollard, and Lawrence Funderburk, totaled 20 fouls between them, with Divac and Pollard both fouling out. After the Kings lost it themselves in Game 7, LA would go on to win the game and the series by shooting 50% from the foul line and 10% from beyond the arc. Whether the series was actually fixed is anybody's guess, but there's no denying that it was one of the most unreal ones for a variety of reasons. Oh, and do you remember Ray Allen's three-pointer that tied the game? It was one of the most iconic shots the NBA has ever seen. In Game 6 of the series, the Miami Heat were on the verge of losing after falling behind the San Antonio Spurs 3-2. With just 5.2 seconds left on the clock, Ray Allen hit a go-ahead three-pointer to tie the game and force overtime. The Heat kept up their winning ways, winning Games 6 and 7 to win the championship. championship for the second time in a row. Allen's game-tying shot demonstrated not only his exceptional shooting skills, but also the importance of tenacity in basketball. Speaking of tenacity, Hakeem Olajuwon's dream shake, anyone? Olajuwon is one of the most illustrious centers in NBA history, and his signature move, the Dream Shake, is proof of his skill and dominance on the court. In Game 2 of the 1995 NBA Finals against Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic, Olajuwon put on a show. Because of his excellent footwork and ball handling skills, he was able to avoid defenders and score whenever he wanted. The Dream Shake, Olajuwon's hallmark move that combines multiple fakes and pivots, is what led to his astounding 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Truly, his career and the league as a whole look back on it as a pivotal effort that changed the course of NBA history. Enough of inspirational stuff, though. Let's talk about the beef that was so petty it was unreal. Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant were the best of friends, until they weren't. The two became Hall of Famers thanks to 3 titles and their reputation as one of the finest NBA duos ever. With a combined total of 9 championships between the two, Shaq and Kobe each have a unique legacy attached to their names. Of their beef, when O'Neal finally got the trade he had been requesting for years, everything fell apart in the summer of 2004. Even though they were teammates, the two bickered with each other, with Kobe criticizing O'Neal's maturity and Shaq calling Bryant selfish. So, the Christmas Day matchup between O'Neal and the Miami Heat, with Bryant still a Laker, was the highest-rated NBA game in 10 years. Everyone watched that day to see how the two would interact with one another and whether they would say hello before tip-off. They didn't, and the conflict continued. In interviews, Shaq would keep referring to Kobe as the other guy. Something changed in 2006, though. O'Neal praised Kobe's 81-point game during the 2006 season, and the two were later seen talking to each other during the All-Star weekend. The first time Kobe and Shaq would play together since their Laker days wasn't until the 2009 NBA All-Star game. All's well that ends well, but this still wasn't as crazy as Wilt's 100-point game. Without a shred of doubt, one of the greatest NBA moments was when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in a single game. On March 2, 1962, while playing for the Philadelphia Warriors against the New York Knicks, Chamberlain pulled off the seemingly unthinkable feat of scoring 100 points in a single game. No player has even come close to his incredible record. It proved Chamberlain's exceptional talent, skill, and competence as a player, as well as his willingness to push himself and pursue success. It's one of the most well-known and inspirational performances in basketball history. That's all for the most unreal moments in NBA history.